Okay, Trish Van 99 got it right. The biggest reselling pain point right now is definitely sourcing, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So please, we're going to ask you to share in a little bit, like where you are with sourcing, but not quite yet. So we're going to talk about how to source items during the pandemic lockdown. Now, I know today, at least in California, our governor is going to talk about allowing some businesses to reopen, right? And I know in some other places in the U.S., they've allowed people Goodwills to open up, and people have gone sourcing.
Yeah, but the stores are open, but they do curbside pickup, so I really don't know how that works. Like, how do you source?
Well, I actually saw one reseller was in Goodwill. They went inside Goodwill.
Oh, okay, maybe another state. Yeah.
So 324 Fine says, we were up at 5:30. Also, stinking construction crew. Oh, I'm sorry. And Bill from 324 Fine says Indiana Goodwills are open.
Oh, so we should go to Indiana. I'm just kidding.
Is it? I mean, we could. All right. So, yes.
We're that desperate.
Are we, though? So we're going to tell you guys some places we've been sourcing, and then we hope that you could also share later on where you've been sourcing.
Yeah. So I think sourcing is definitely a pain point for all resellers, especially for those of you who are doing this full time. We highly depend on sourcing every weekend to thrift stores and garage sales, and all of a sudden after the pandemic, nothing was available. So we had to find different ways of doing it. And so it's not, it's going to take a little bit more work if you source at home. So most of most of what we're recommending is basically doing it online. But the time you spend finding the items online is actually the same time as if you were to drive to a store.
Yeah, and sorry, did you want to move forward? I don't think it's like, I think it's the same amount of time. Like, we all have 24 hours in a day, but it is definitely different. It's just a different way of doing it. And I think the resellers who are having, more problems right now are a lot of us who sell like clothes on Poshmark, are running out of inventory that we would usually get from Goodwills or the bins. I think those who are doing other kind of sourcing like wholesale are okay for the most part, because the manufacturers now are reproducing. I think a lot of stuff comes from China, and when they were having trouble back in January, February, they closed down for a bit, but they're totally up and running now. So that's an option. That might be an option for you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's continue then.
So a strategy that what you could do is, what are the popular items that people are looking for? When we had the offer up live the other day, we talked about how parents are having difficulty keeping their children busy. So they're looking for kids items. A lot of them are looking for like pools, like outdoor little pools for kids to stay busy. Board games and puzzles. So first is really identifying like what items are selling. Go ahead.
And you can do that just by searching eBay's top items. You can also look on Amazon and see what the top items are there. I know, like, aside from entertaining kids,
video games.
Yeah, aside from that, like video cameras are a hot selling item. I had one of my colleagues, we all had to, start teaching remotely, right? Everyone's teaching remotely, everyone's working remotely. So video cameras for computers are hot. So if you could source those, you're going to sell them right away. Cell phones happen to be hot right now, especially if they're like iPhones. So those are on like eBay's top selling list of items. And it's crazy because my colleague bought a camera for a couple $100.
Wow.
Where before we would be able to buy one for like $10-15.
Yeah.
And so, so you want to do that kind of research and maybe consider switching what you're used to selling. So like if you're used to selling a lot of clothes, you may want to start venturing out into hard goods and things like that.
And also depending on where you are with your reselling journey, if you're not, you don't want to jump into wholesale, this is a good strategy, is really looking through platforms like eBay, Mercari, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, and some people, rather than having garage sale, they might want to get rid of like a lot of items, a whole lot. So that's another strategy.
All right, so just quickly, we want to say hello to Chambers Lindy and Sell Quick, Ship Quick. Thanks for joining us this morning. Everyone's up early today. What's going on?
I know, it's Friday. So here's an example. We were on Mercari and different platforms, and we're looking for items that you think we could flip at a reasonable price. And a lot of times people, instead of having garage sale, they would take a random photo of their item and they would just post it online. So they're not resellers. Those are always good targets, is buying from people who are not resellers, obviously. And so when you look at the photos on the bottom, the one on the left is pretty much what you have, what we've purchased. And when you evaluate the item, look at the quality of the photos they post also, because when you have professional photos, they tend to sell better. So the sourced item that we did was a photo on the left. And we actually took the item, we cleaned it up, and we took some nicer photos and we listed it. So it takes a little bit more work to source the item and obviously to clean the item, but it's the same thing as if you were going to a thrift store.
It really is. And good morning, JoJo's Closet and More. It really is like that. We were shopping on Mercari. You can shop on Poshmark. You can look for accounts that are not reseller accounts, but like we're in LA area and things are typically more expensive out here. So I've seen many reseller closets that are Poshmark that have extremely low prices. And I would not doubt that if you created a nice bundle of their items and submitted an offer that you would get it. And so that's definitely one way to do it. So 324 Finds says, oh yeah, he's been up since 5:30 for construction. And Sell Quick, Ship Quick, great point. And love the format of this live with pictures. Thank you so much for that and for the clicking on the little hearts there. We appreciate that. So are you talking about places of source now, or did you continue?
Yeah, we're going to continue. So another way is OfferUp and Nextdoor. We've heard a lot of suggestions from the reselling community too, is that posting an ad out there saying, hey, we do free pickup. If you want to do spring cleaning or you have any items you want to donate, we'll pick them up. One thing that, if you don't want to, you want to make sure like you're not super shady about it. You could tell them that you're a reseller, and you would take items some items to resell, most of them to donation, which is in most cases that's based on our experience. We donate most of it anyways, right?
Yeah. So basically, we put ads up on places. Thank you, Sell Quick, Ship Quick, for stopping by. So we put ads up on OfferUp, on Facebook Marketplace, and on Nextdoor. Now, we just found out this morning that you are not supposed to do that. We had no idea. But other people who have done it, I guess, have had their ads removed. We've been doing this for many, many months, and nobody has removed our ads anywhere. Yeah. So we've been pretty fortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, we focus on picking up a lot of books. We've gotten some really awesome books this way for free, so we don't have to use any of our money. And people contact us. In fact, today we're going to be doing some pickup of a college professor, so that should be pretty good.
Yeah.
And sometimes people do ask, like, hey, what do you do with the books? And we just tell them. We say the majority of the books are going to be donated to libraries, which is where we take the books that we don't use, and a select few will be kept for selling on our bookstore. Mm-hmm. And we have a couple bookstores. We have one on Amazon, one on eBay. And so, the same can be done with clothing items or other goods, hard goods.
And many times people also, instead of us putting an ad out there, people put a post out there saying, hey, I want to get rid of my stuff. So, for example, the library, there was a woman, she passed away, she owned a little library, and her library had I think we got hundreds.
Yeah, we probably got a couple hundred books. It felt like thousands, but yeah.
At least 20 boxes of books, and we picked all of them up. And they were actually kind enough to actually use their truck and drop their books off too. So there are people out there who are looking for us, resellers, or someone who pick up their items. So definitely that's another way to source your items.
Yeah, I wouldn't neglect that at all. People who aren't resellers, they don't want their items to go to landfills. They want it to go to a good place. So look for ads of people doing that and place your own ads. It's really simple to do. We actually created our ads on a program that's free called Canva. Mm-hmm. Is it Canva? Yeah. It's super easy to use. You can make your ads on there.
So another way of doing it is estate sales. Instead of personally going there, you can do it online. However, most of the items are based on a bidding system, like an auction system. So you definitely would have to keep an eye on the items that you really want. Most of them all of them start at $1. Some items have reserved prices that they want to meet, but in most cases it's $1. Like yesterday, we put a bid on a board game for $1 and we won. So, cool. But the trick is really to keep an eye on it. What I usually do is put an alarm on my phone to remind me that, hey, this is expiring. And people go crazy towards the last second, and if they really want the item, they go on to last second and they place a bid on it. Yeah. The only drawback, so there's two things. One is estate sale, you could do it online, and also you could do shipping, and you could also do local pickup. So if you have an estate sale that's local and you could drive there, that's certainly highly recommended because you don't have to pay for shipping. However, shipping is also another option. If you are bidding on an item for $1, you make sure you kind of calculate the shipping cost, and they'll ship the item to you. Like yesterday, we got a bunch of vintage Army patches, and those are light items, so consider the weight of the item too. So that's another way, estate sale.
So how much is the shipping going to be?
They haven't told us.
Oh, okay, got it. So they do it by weight, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but if it's an item that's going to cost, it's going to weigh less than a pound, it won't be a lot.
Right, or it also matters on how big the item is and stuff like that, right? Okay. Wait, but so then you're saying that you bought an item and they don't tell you the shipping price?
They don't until they invoice you.
That
is a drawback.
A drawback, yeah.
But if the item is $1, I think it's still worth it.
I get what you're saying. So we do have a question. Jojo's Closet More says, great idea. Do your books sell better on Amazon or eBay? That's a fantastic question. So actually we have two different kind of sets of books that we put on eBay and Amazon. So on Amazon, we put books that are, it's hard to say. That's like a whole nother animal, a whole nother live. But we try to put books on Amazon that sell quickly and that we can make a couple bucks profit off of, right? So the idea there is that it sells fast and we don't have to ship the items. On our eBay books, currently right now, it's probably more popular books. Now you would think that some of the most popular books would do well on Amazon, but actually they don't because there's so many of the books, the prices are so cheap that for us it's worth to just sell those on eBay.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to click on the little question mark below. But books is definitely another thing that you could start selling. If you're just used to selling clothes, you could start adding books in there. And people are buying books right now too.
And the really cool thing about books is that shipping cost is so cheap. Not sure if you guys are familiar with Media Mail. Media Mail is extremely cheap. So if you ship a book that's £2, it's going to cost them, the buyer, $3. So check into media mail. Media mail includes vinyl records, includes CDs,
newspapers.
Yes, magazines, any type of publication and media related items.
So one more thing about estate sales is you can go to this website that Michelle provided, estatesales.org. But another way you could find estate sales locally, which I think would probably be the best approach, is Google it, right? So Google some estate sales in your areas. Try to join their Facebook pages or get on their email lists. And some of them do estate sales by appointment, where it's just going to be you, going physically there and placing bids or buying items. Or some of them are doing estate sales virtually with a camera, and then whoever bids on it gets it, or whoever says, okay, I want that. First person to say, I want that, gets it. Then you just drive up. They set everything on the sidewalk for you. You pick it up. So there's that social distancing involved. All right, so we do have a question. Here we go. So the question is from Trish Van 99. She said, do you need different packaging or boxes for media mail for the books?
They don't accept priority mail, of course, because it's media mail. So you use your regular poly mailer. When we pack books, we always put like a hard cardboard to protect the book, and also we use bubble wrap. So we bubble wrap it, we put a cardboard in there, and then we put a fragile sticker, and we write "Do not bend." And then you could put in a poly mailer, regular bubble wrap type mailer, that'll work. But they don't really use any priority mail packaging.
The only other kind of different mail packaging, media mail packaging that we've done is when we sell newspapers, we typically we put the newspaper in a poly bag, then we tape it to 2 cardboards so it's straight and doesn't bend. And then we use a priority mail boxes, right? Or is it media mail? Sorry.
No, we just use.
We use cardboard. We use cardboard. We put it flat and we just tape it.
Yeah, and we even protect it. We wrap it in like a brown paper.
Yeah, I think we have a YouTube video on our YouTube channel on how to. Yeah, we do, on how to wrap newspapers. If you guys ever do send those out, we've sold quite a few newspapers. Those do really well too. If you guys could find those and flip those. They're super fun to flip.
Thanks for your question, Trish.
So good question there. All right. So next slide.
Next slide is just continuation of what estate sale people sell. They sell clothes by lots. So they can. The tricky thing is you can't really see the quality. You can't feel the fabric. You can't check if there are stains or holes, but you could definitely reach out to the seller to ask if there are any defects. They sell the closets, basically. They would put the entire closet, including shoes and bags, and they start at $1. And then there are additional photos of the clothes, but they don't really disclose that much information as if you were at a store. So that's another thing. If you are on Poshmark, you're selling clothes, estate sales do sell closets, and you can make sure you bid on it. You keep watching the items. The thing is, as soon as, let's say you place a bid on it and somebody outbid you, you're going to get a notification on your phone and on your email saying, hey, somebody outbid you, if you want to go check it out and keep bidding. Yeah.
It's so, those of you who are selling on Poshmark, selling clothes and shoes and things like that, this is definitely another place to source that. We used to go to estate sales before the pandemic, and we scored on this estate sale. This man had beautiful, expensive Tommy Bahama shirts. I picked up all of them. He had belts. He had shoes. If Michelle was with me, because I remember when I went that day, there was a ton of people, I would have picked up all these shoes. And in fact, I bought a few pairs of shoes there for $4 each. Every shirt I paid for was like $2.50. And we were flipping those shirts for like $25. And the shoes, it was a sad story because I ended up leaving them there by accident, so they got sold to someone else. But his shoes, it looked like he was like a lawyer or something. So an estate sale is usually done like 90% of the time when people pass away. And so they sell everything in their homes, including their clothes. And so we definitely scored and have scored with clothes at estate sales many times.
Yeah. And other sourcing tips. So if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to, leave a comment there. If you have any questions, let us know. So we went on live this morning with Daily Refinements, and we've learned a few things. And if you want to game up, is that the right term?
Yeah, game up
your reselling journey. A couple of things they recommended is also like reach out to wholesalers. A lot of stores are closed. Wholesalers need to get rid of their inventory, and if the stores are closed, then they can't get rid of it.
So like basically she's talking about like retailers as well, like big stores. Yeah. And I'm sure you guys have noticed there's been a lot of sales, with all the big stores out there right now. You can also check out local liquidation companies and buy from them to resell. Mm-hmm. Other just common places to source: eBay, right? eBay, Mercari, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace. I've seen really cheap items on Facebook Marketplace just from regular people selling their kids' shoes or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's a good place. We have also purchased things during this pandemic, aside from the estate sales. We've purchased stuff on Mercari, like Michelle showed you the shoes. And Mercari gives you coupons. So I don't know how many of you are selling there, but if you start listing things, they give you money back for listing things. So we have like a $25 coupon, and they're always giving it to us. So do any of you guys sell there? Do any of you sell on Mercari? And we've also bought from Nordstrom Rack to resell. Mm-hmm. They've been really knocking down their prices. You bought from Levi's, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Levi's store?
A lot of stores have a whole warehouse sale. So make sure you sign up on their emails. I don't know how I got onto their email list, but somehow check out those, J. Crew. J. Crew just filed for bankruptcy, so I'm sure they're going to slash their prices. And definitely it used to be spam, and now I guess they're not spams anymore, right?
Yeah, now we're looking for those so we could find cheap items to flip. We've bought stuff on J. Crew before, and we've been able to flip stuff from there before, just looking at their sales. Are we missing anything on places that we've sourced?
Goodwill is also Goodwill is similar to the estate sale. They have a shopgoodwill.com. You can bid on items, but I find it a little bit more competitive. So you really have to maybe have 10 computers and bid on the item when it expires. I don't know. But that's another place, Goodwill. Yeah.
Okay. So can you guys share if you guys have had success sourcing somewhere during the pandemic? Would you mind sharing with us or with everybody in the comments below? I've also heard of people buying a lot from Instagram, just like following other resellers and cold calling, like just talking to them and saying, hey, I would like to buy a bunch of your stuff. And that's been working.
Yeah. And also people are still having garage sales, believe it or not.
Wow. Here in California?
Yeah, I see a lot of ads. So join a Facebook group in your local community. And when they post an ad about their yard sale, garage sale, reach out to them and say, hey, what kind of items do you have? What if I buy everything from you? That's another strategy.
All right. So it sounds, I haven't seen any comments. Are you guys sourcing now? Where are you sourcing from? Are you relying on your old death pile for things? A lot of people are doing that too. They're just relisting and like...
that's what we're doing too.
Relying on their old death pile. Mm-hmm. Okay, so JoJo's Closet and More says, mystery boxes from people I know and trust. And how have those been resulting for you? JoJo's Closet and More. And I'm just curious, like when you guys buy mystery boxes, like how much, or in general, if you're selling clothes, what is your ASP that you're looking for? Your average sold price per item. Reseller says, I have sold vintage things in my attic, and last Saturday, my daughter and I have found some amazing stuff in people's trash. Ooh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
A lot of people are doing cleanup. They're cleaning up. Maybe they don't want to, like, talk to anyone or touch anyone, so they just leave stuff on the street, maybe. And you could find
yeah, well, I mean, this is actually, my aunt and uncle were telling me they have a cleaning service, and in certain, like, demographic areas where there's people with money, they say they go on on trash day. They've been there and they've just found brand new items that people leave on the street. So they go through and pick them up for free. So that's a great idea too, honestly. Resells. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing that. All right. So I think we're out of time.
Yeah.
It is 8:49.
Rich areas.
Where we are. Yeah, go to the rich areas on trash day and see what kind of stuff they throw out. No joke. Not even joking. Yeah, my uncle said there was a pile of clothes, men's clothes, high end, that his son just grabbed and wanted to keep for himself because they were really in great shape. So yeah, and my cousin's gotten furniture that way. So man, if you can do that. Okay, so we're gonna have to go now. We have our day jobs calling us. But thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you a happy Friday, and let's set a goal from now until the next week to hit 324 finds recommended 17 items daily. This is going to be like a little goal that you can do with us. So for the next 7 days, write down every day how many items you list, and make sure that 17 is your goal of the items that you list. If you can do more than that, then you're awesome. All right, so we will talk to you soon, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
All right, bye-bye. You make